Hi everyone, I'm here to show you something else that I've made this week. This is using the new, the Bunch of Blossoms stamp set, and that is retiring. So only a few more weeks to get this stamp set. It has a punch that goes with it, a Blossom Builder I think is what it's called. So that goes with it. So that's what we're using today. I'm also using some retiring in colors, so you can sense a theme here. We're going to use Berry Burst, Powder Pink, Lemon Lime Twist. So those are the retiring colors, and then the other color we're using is Crumb Cake. So first we'll do our background. This is a burlap stamp, which is also retiring, and what I'm going to use to stamp that is my Stamparatus. So this Stamparatus works great for background stamps. So I'm just going to show you how I set it up too, in case you've not ever used one before. So I have my big burlap stamp. And I made this for the Buffalo Plaid, but it works for any of them. I've made a little template. We have found that if you try and stamp if I were to put this way up in the corner, it's really hard to get it stamped well in that corner. So I just took some cardstock and just taped it onto one of our grid papers, so that I've got just a little place here I can slide my cardstock into. So I know that's where I want my stamp to be over. So I'm just going to take it and just lay it over there. And then I'll take one of the plates and pick up the stamp. So now I'm ready to ink it up. And so we're going to do Crumb Cake on Crumb Cake. So you can see it's not too dark. So what I did, before I put my paper in there, we'll ink it up. So you just ink all over the background stamp. And then because I don't want it too dark, I'm going to put just a piece of scratch paper in here and stamp on that first. And I'm not going to worry about getting even pressure everywhere, because I don't mind if it's a little bit different, if it's a little variation in the intensity. So now I'm going to put my cardstock in there, and now I want to be sure I get good pressure on all of this. And so some of it's going to come out a little darker. And the good thing about it is, if I feel like, yeah, it looks pretty good. So you can see some of it's a little darker up here, a little lighter there. All right, that's all we need our Stamparatus for. And get that out of the way. All right, and we'll set this aside. I'll probably put the dark at the bottom just because that makes more sense to me. All right, now I just have some scraps of white. That's for my sentiment, so I don't want to use that one. And a piece of Whisper White that I cut out with the layering ovals, and then I have a scalloped oval also from that same framelit. So I'm just going to stamp some of these stems on there. So that's with the Lemon Lime Twist, and these are skinny enough that I don't need my foam core, my foam pad underneath of it. So I'm going to do some of these, and I'm just stamping. I'm going to end up with 5 flowers, so I'm just putting 5 stems out here, just different heights, just kind of all coming out of the center. And then there's a skinny one that you can kind of put next to it for a little bit of extra. Just kind of gives it a little extra tone to it. That one got a little bit off. It's hard to do this when you're not right on top of it. There we go. That's our stems. And actually, while I have this out, I'll do my leaves. So I had to find lots of blocks to do this because there's lots of different pieces. So now I will get my foam mat. And it's about time to put another piece of paper on it. This one's been well used. So there are 3, this might be easier to show you on the box. There are 3 leaf stamps, and same thing with the flowers, big leaves and the little flowers. So you can do some nice shading, some variation there. So I'm going to start with the most solid one. I'm not doing it there. We're doing it on a strip. And I'm going to stamp it off twice and then stamp it. So it's real light. Stamp it off twice. Stamp it. And one more. Because I have 3 leaves. Okay, so that's my base. And then this next one, I don't know if you can see, but it's got, you know, just a part of it is inked up. I'm going to stamp off once and then stamp it over that. So this will give it a little bit more depth. Stamp off once. All right, and then the last piece has lines on it. So this one I'll stamp full strength. So this is kind of the outline and the veining on it. Hi, Betty. Are you back from the beach? Looks like you guys were having so much fun. All right, so there's my leaves. They're all done. So we'll put that aside. We're done with the lemon lime twist. All right, now we'll start building our flowers. And again, I just have some scraps of Whisper White, and we may end up having to cut some of this apart when we get, oh, I'm so sorry. Bumped into that. When we get ready to punch them, we may have to cut them apart. So I'm gonna start with the big flowers. And it's hard to tell, but what I used was powder pink for the background, and then Berry Burst for this piece, but stamped off once, and then Berry Burst full strength for the lines on it. So again, we'll start with our most solid image. Powder pink. And we're going to do 3 of these. So one, looks like I didn't get that one all the way. Here, I'm going to start over. 1. All right, one more. We'll turn it this way. All right, so that's our start. And that is all we're using the powder pink for. Now the Berry Burst. So this one, I'm doing that next piece, and I'm going to stamp it off and then stamp it on top of the powder pink. And again, it's really hard to see when you're not right over what you're stamping on. So these may not line up perfectly, but you'll get the idea. All right, and then the last piece is the outline and all the lines. So that, like the leaves, I'll stamp full strength in the Berry Burst. All right, so those are our big flowers. And then we need 2 small flowers. So for those, I did something similar that I did for the leaves. So Berry Burst, stamped it off twice, and then stamp it. So it's a softer color. Stamp it off twice. And this one we just need 2. And then the next piece, just stamp off once. Stamp off once. There we go. And then the last piece is the lines again. And we'll do that full strength. All right. Oh, one more thing we need to stamp, and that's our sentiment. And this is from the same set. And it just says, "Let's celebrate you." So I'm just going to put it kind of in the middle, because I'm going to tuck one end of it underneath my flowers, and the other end will be, I'll do the little, get the little end off of it. All right, we are done with all of our stamping. Now we're ready to punch and assemble. That out of the way. Okay, let's get our punch and see what we have to do. Because what you have to watch out for, like if I do that, then it's gonna punch into that. So I brought my scissors over, and I have Post-its. So if you ever have a piece, this one I can do, but if you ever have a piece that's too small and you can't hold on to it to make it go in the punch, if you just put a Post-it note on the end of it, then that you can use that to hold it. All right, so see if I can line this up. Oops, that way a little bit maybe. And don't lose them. They want to go flying everywhere. Alright, there's our little ones, maybe. There's our two little ones. And I'm pretty sure we're going to have to cut these apart because otherwise we'll end up with a mess. Alright. Yep. See, this is like I was talking about. So I really can't hold on to it now. So all you need to do is take a Post-it and just stick it onto the edge of your paper like that. And now I can use that Post-it to adjust it. And I use them until it doesn't have any sticky left in it. Until I've punched out all the sticky. Oh, that one's going to need the end cut off since it goes all the way. Now, probably what I could have done, and I've seen people do this, I just haven't tried it with this one, you can make a template for your punch. So when you have something like this that has a bunch of different pieces, you can punch it out of a piece of cardstock and then use that to stamp your images, and then when you put it in the punch, it punches it all beautifully. But I didn't take time to do that tonight. Oops. Alright, there's our flowers. And then our little leaves. So we have 3 little leaves. What are the chances we'll be able to cut these? Oh, it's so close. I bet if I trim off the side of this, I bet we can. Let's see. Let's see if we can. Then if we start with this first one, oops, wrong thing. If we start with this first one, then we won't be punching into our other ones. Come here. Let's see. It's kind of close, but it seems to be working. And the last one. Whoops, that was close. Well, that one might have slid on me still. All right, let's get some of this mess out of the way. Okay, now the other thing I'm using that's also retiring is this ruffled ribbon. So this is the Lemon Lime Twist. And if you've been to my classes, you know I cheat and I just take the ribbon because we don't like to tie bows all the time, do we, buddy? So I just take my Scotch tape and I just tape it to the back. There we go. And now I've got a powder pink card base, and this one I did, yeah, that's right, Betty, no bows. I did this way, which is kind of a fun change. So now I can adhere this to my card base. And then I'm gonna go ahead, try not to lose any of these, and put my my oval, my stamped oval on my scalloped oval. Okay, now we're ready to start building. So I just kind of laid them out on my thing, and I knew I wanted to put some up on dimensionals and some flat, so I just kind of alternated which ones I wanted where, so they had some, and you want them to have some different heights. And if you decide you want one a little lower, you can just go down onto your stems a little. That doesn't hurt anything. All right, so just kind of lay, and I did my flowers first, and then I went back and put my leaves on. So I had this one flat, and so I think I used my green glue, but I don't have that right over here, so we'll just use a little of the snail. So I put that one there, and then that one was up on a dimensional, and that one was up on a dimensional, but this little one was not. Put a little adhesive on the bottom of him, and they're kind of hanging off, so you don't want to put adhesive all the way up to the top. And now I've got some dimensionals, so now I can start. This guy's going up on a dimensional. Try and stay up on my paper so you can see what I'm doing. Yeah, it's such a mess over here. All right, so that one's gonna go, and this one's gonna go up on a dimensional. That one's flat, and one more on this one will be on a dimensional. Hopefully, there's my leaves. Make sure I haven't lost any of my leaves. All right, last one. There we go. Now these guys, I did not put any of them up on a dimensional. So I put one down here on this. You can just put them wherever you want. I kind of made sure I had one on each of the outside flowers, and then one in the middle. Like right there. Oops, so we don't want them covering up the flower. There we go. Now we've, oh, I put that dimensional too far up on that flower, didn't I? That's all right. We'll put more dimensionals on these so it will, because we need it to straddle the ribbon anyway. So we'll put a couple more dimensionals on here. Okay, and then just kind of straddle that. Oh, I didn't have my ribbon over far enough today. We can fix that. I bet we can fix that. Nobody will see the back. Because we want that oval to be centered over that. So let's just move it over a little bit. Another advantage to taping it on the back. So we may have ripped up a little bit of the back, but nobody will know. Let's see how that looks. Yes, that will work well. All right, let's put this back on our base. And then put this over there with our dimensionals. Now we have this beautiful bouquet. And all we need to do now is finish up our sentiment. So for this, I just use my scissors. You just snip a little in the middle, and then from each corner to the middle. Sometimes if they're small like this, it's harder to put them in that triple banner punch, so I just do this instead. There we go. And put a little adhesive at the end of that. And just kind of slide that in underneath your flowers. And there you go. This is the one that I made the other day, and this is the one we made tonight. So a real pretty set, nice set with the punch. Makes it easy to get flowers to put on gorgeous cards like that. All right, well, thank you so much for joining me, and I will see you next week. Bye.